Hi everyone, welcome to the Mama Elephant May release. This is Rena. Today is the last day of introductions, and we are going to look at Hot Air Balloon and a new Creative Cuts die Just High. Remember to leave a comment on these release videos for a chance to enter a drawing to win a prize from Mama Elephant. The release will be available on May 15th. Hot Air Balloon is illustrated by Ada Zamora, and I love all her little critters and how they match all the other Mama Elephant stamp sets. My favorite one is the elephant with the heart-shaped balloon. I just love that one. Here's a look at the coordinating dies for Hot Air Balloon. Next up is Just High. This is a large scale sentiment die cut, and we'll be making a shaker card with that die in a bit. I'm going to be using Copic markers today to color in the images, and my desk, my friends, is crazy. There's markers everywhere. I couldn't find my swatch sheet, so we were just going for it and just pulling whatever colors. I mean, you guys know me. I usually typically plan out every move, but I was just coloring away and just using kind of what was in front of me. Sometimes I don't like doing that, just like, oh, I'll just color and choose whatever colors. Just because I just like to know what to expect, and I like to know that something's going to match right away. But doing this like willy-nilly, I'm just going to pick whatever, kind of worked out because I rediscovered the R30 markers. So the colors here are R30, R32, and R35. And I forgot how much I loved R35. Before my move, I went through this whole thing where I refilled all my Copic markers and all this. And it's weird because usually I don't make the effort to do that. So I'm always using dry markers, but I have discovered that I like using dry markers. Just enough ink to where it's laying down smooth, but not super juicy. I don't like using super juicy markers. So I think from now on, when I refill my markers, I'm just going to throw in just a couple of drops because I just like it when it's not juicy and it's enough color, and I like to just fade at the end, and that's a lot easier to do when you're not working with a lot of ink. This was a lot of coloring today because the images are a little bit larger. The past couple days I've been just coloring tiny images, and the unicorns are super easy. And I forgot to also mention that the unicorns were illustrated by Ada Zamora as well. So coloring these images, it's just a lot. I feel like it was a lot of coloring, but I really enjoyed it. I don't really get the opportunity to do a lot of blending with smaller images. So this kind of forced me to, try to blend, and I don't do hardcore blending. I don't try to make things look realistic. I just do like the bare minimum of blending, just to show that it has some curvature, that it has, a tiny bit of depth, and it's just not flat. So for these images also, I found that, like with all the other things that I color, I really prefer coloring with lighter colored markers, instead of like, really dark ones, because it's a lot more forgiving, and if you make a mistake, you can totally cover it up with a darker color. But it's kind of hard to fix something that you've colored dark already. I feel like the set too will work with a lot of the other Ada Zamora products. I forgot the name of the stamp set, but there's a stamp set, and it had the elephants, and the elephants holding like regular balloons like floating up. I think that would pair really nicely with that hot air balloon that has the elephant on it. And I'm also thinking about that cover die, that it's a really old one, but it has like the clouds, and that's one of my favorite dies, and that would look really good with this hot air balloon set. And then also the recent set in the clouds, I think that would look good too. So with the hot air balloons, I'm just doing like the darker color at the top and the bottom of the balloon, and trying to keep the middle a little bit lighter just so it looks round. Here are what the images look like all cut out, and I just adore how they turned out. I'm so proud of myself. It was a lot of coloring, and I was just worried that I would mess it up, but I really liked how they turned out. So I'm going to make a slim size card today. I used the largest die from the Back to Basics Slimline set, and the newest set, Hit the Road, has this tiny slider channel. So I thought I would put all three of my hot air balloons on a slider channel. So here I'm preparing the slider mechanism. I'm putting double-sided foam adhesive, and this was so easy to make. I couldn't believe how easy it was. I have the pennies there for positioning, and then I'm also going to put the double-sided foam tape on the pennies as well. I'm not going to cut down that tape. I cut it down before and it made it wobbly, so I'm trying to keep the tape on the penny a little bit thicker so it's more sturdy, like the sliding action. I'm removing the release paper, and then I flip the pennies over so that adhesive will show through the front of the card. And that's where you will adhere your images. This was so easy to make. I can't even explain how easy it was. I think once you make a shaker the first time, it's a little rough, and the second time I knew exactly what to do. So I'm taking those images and putting it on top of the tape on top of the penny. And as you can see, they totally slid really nice and smooth and fast. I really liked how this one came out. So I wanted to add like a little bit of atmosphere. I was going to do clouds, but then I did that for one of the other cards. So I thought I would do stars. And I'm using the stars from the star grid die. They pop out, and I thought I would use those. I couldn't find my smaller die sets because my room is still it's still a mess. I can't find anything, so I'm like, I'll just use these because I found them and they're right there. But I really like the size of these stars too, because they're really big. They make a really big impact, and it adds a lot of color. We'll make our second card. This is a A2 size cover die, and then I'm putting the Just High die inside of it. And you'll want to save all the pieces because you're going to need that little inside piece of the H. So that's where it goes. So I just want to make sure that I'm accounting for all the pieces, and thankfully there's only one inside piece. I will flip over that card front, and then I'm going to add a piece of acetate because we are going to be making a shaker card. And so as you can see, when it is cut out, you have to fill in that loop of the H so it looks nice. So after I adhere the acetate, I'm going to put that whole high sentiment back inside, but not adhere it, but only put glue where the inside piece goes, and that way I'll have perfect positioning for that inside piece of the letter. I'm going to prepare my backer sheet. I always like to see if it's the right size and it won't hang out in front of the card front. So it was the right size. and I'm just going to put double-sided foam adhesive all around the opening of the sentiment. And I'm doing this to create a shaker well. It looks pretty crazy, but I wanted it as close as possible to the opening, just so I wouldn't have to use a ton of shaker material. After I fully enclose that sentiment up, I'm going to then add some extra pieces of double-sided foam adhesive just to make the card look even and stable. At this point, I would do powder tool on the sides of my adhesive, but I touched mine and mine doesn't actually have adhesive on the sides, so I didn't have to do the powder tool. I'm going to add my favorite shaker bits on the inside of the shaker well, and then the last part will be putting in the backer sheet and making sure that it is pressed down so none of the shaker material escapes. I just loved how this looked. It's hard to see on camera because it's super shiny, but I love it. For the dot of the eye, I decided to use one of the stars that I had already cut out, and then I had a little extra beagle and I put him inside the star. I just totally wanted to do that because I wanted to give this away, and if you were one of my friends, you would totally know it was from me because of the beagle. That sentiment was from Little Agenda Airplanes, the just stopping by to say hi. Here is a look at the completed cards. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have an awesome day. Stay safe and happy crafting. I will see you guys next time. Remember, the release drops on May 15th. Bye, guys.